I'm not usually the type of person to share stories online, but what happened to me last year still keeps me up at night. Maybe writing it down will help. Maybe it'll help someone else stay a little more alert next time they're alone in a place that isn't home. I booked a small Airbnb in a quiet residential neighborhood just outside the city center. I was in town for a solo weekend. No real reason, just needed a break from work and noise. Hotels were either too expensive or fully booked, so I found this 2-story townhouse that looked clean and modern. I checked in late afternoon. The host had left the key in a lockbox. Everything looked exactly like the photos. Minimal, freshly cleaned, maybe a bit too empty. Still, I liked the quiet. The street outside barely had any cars. A row of almost identical houses, kind of peaceful, kind of eerie. While I was bringing in my bags, I noticed something strange. A man was standing across the street, partially hidden behind a parked car, just staring toward the house. I thought maybe he was waiting for someone, or just on a walk, but he stood there for over 5 minutes. No phone, no movement, just watching. Eventually he walked off, and I tried to brush it off. Big city, weird people, it happens. I locked up the house carefully that night. Both doors, all windows. I even checked twice. I watched a few episodes on Netflix and ended up falling asleep on the living room couch. Around 1 a.m., I woke up and moved upstairs to the bedroom. The bed was near a window that faced the street. I remember checking. The neighborhood was silent, street lights flickering faintly. I fell asleep fast. Then sometime around 2 a.m., I woke up. Not from noise, just something felt wrong. My body was tense, like it already knew before my mind caught up. I needed water, so I quietly got up and went to the bathroom. That's when I noticed it. The downstairs hallway light was on. I was sure I'd turned everything off. I stood at the top of the stairs, heart suddenly pounding in my chest. I slowly stepped down, trying not to make any noise. As I reached the first floor, I felt this chill run down my spine. The front door, the same one I'd locked, was open about 2 inches. I froze, completely still. I stared at the crack in the door, barely breathing. And then I saw something even worse. Wet, bare footprints on the tile, just inside the entrance. I backed away slowly, stepped into the bathroom, and turned off the light. I stood there listening. That's when I heard it. A soft, deliberate creak from the other side of the kitchen wall. Someone was walking inside. I grabbed my phone and tiptoed back upstairs, locking myself in the bedroom. I called 911 as quietly as I could. My hands were shaking so hard I almost dropped the phone. I listened. The floorboards creaked again, slower, closer. Whoever was inside wasn't in a rush. They were moving like they knew I was still there. I pressed my back against the bedroom door, praying the lock would hold. It felt like forever before I heard the distant sound of sirens. Moments later, silence. When police arrived, the front door was wide open. The house was empty, no signs of forced entry, except some deep scratches on the back door frame. Whoever it was had been there for a while, watching, waiting, and they left nothing behind but footprints